from Mexico. They then put you on an internal plane to Mexicali. The cartels have a parking lot filled with buses at Mexicali. You get on one of those buses, and then they drive you to the, to the crossing. And there are 9 big crossings. So, and the one I went to was in Yuma, and the night I went there, probably 600 to 800 people came across. And the little town of Yuma is bearing a lot of the initial burden because a lot of these people are sick, so they go to the hospital. There's a lot of pregnant women. I talked to them. I spent a day with the head of the hospital, and he said that a few months ago, there were so many pregnant immigrants in his hospital. They occupied 32 of the 35 beds on the maternity ward, and a lot of local women who had scheduled pregnancy inductions, induced births, C-sections, whatever, could not get in, had to cancel or postpone their appointments. He said that he spent $27 million of the hospital's budget last year unreimbursed to take care of the immigrants. And we talked with the sheriff who told us because the entire Border Patrol is now processing people, there's nobody guarding the border, and the drugs are pouring across through the other place. If you're a smuggler or a bad guy, you don't come through that fence, around that fence. These are all people who intend to stay in this country. When they stay, they're given a court date 7 years from now. And meanwhile, there's 1 million immigrants who are legally coming here, 1.1 million immigrants who go through the whole process, which could take them 8 or 10 years. And this is like a stick in the face for them. So, no country can survive if it can't control its borders, and we're not doing that. The good news is this, that everybody that I talked to there said that this is easy to stop. That the way to stop it is very, very simple, and that they've been doing it before. Now, I didn't like to hear this because I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I did not like his wall. But what the Border Patrol and everybody else said is, you don't need to build a physical barrier from San Diego, 2,200 miles to Brownsville, Texas. You do need a physical barrier in certain places where there's high density populations. The rest of it you can monitor with ground monitoring, very, very sophisticated surveillance and ground monitoring systems. Many of those were put up during the Trump administration, but for some reason, the Biden administration, when it came in, took down the towers and they removed the ground sensing systems. This is not something that, as a Democrat, that I want to hear. And then, once it got out that this is an open border and the cartels saw that there's a huge profit opportunity here, the flow has just increased exponentially. But we can stop it. During the Trump administration, the crossings at Yuma were about 10 to 25 a day at most. Now, as I said, they're 200 to 800 a day. So, we can solve this problem, but we need to do it in a way that's sensible, that's common sense, and that is not causing this terrible, terrible humanitarian crisis. From where I sat on the border, there's a tree that you can see on the other side of the fence, but it's in U.S. territory. It's called the rape tree. And it's where the cartels extract their final payment from women who come across, sometimes from children. The Border Patrol watches helplessly while they do this. I talked to people, this Peruvian family that I talked to that had lost their life savings because the cartels rob them, they beat them, they extort them, they exploit them, and ultimately they rape them. And this is a humanitarian crisis that that we're creating through government negligence, and we need to end it for everybody's sake.
Let's get to a question from Ken Berlin.